Roanoke Island becomes a bust on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is June 19th, 2023. It is the 170th day of the year. We got 195 days left in 2023. It is the 25th Monday in the 25th week and the 92nd day of spring. You got 2 days till summer. Forgive my scratchy voice. I'm coming off a post-cruise cold. Today is Juneteenth, National Independence Day. Juneteenth, officially Juneteenth National Independence Day, is a federal holiday in the United States commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. The origins of Juneteenth date back to June 19, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger, a U.S. Army officer and Union general during the Civil War, issued an order in Galveston, Texas, announcing that all slaves were free under the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, obviously, the word Juneteenth is a combination of June and 19th. Originally, it was called Jubilee Day. Black communities began using the word Juneteenth for Jubilee Day early in the 1890s. Current Issue, a Texas periodical, used the word as early as 1909. Now, this celebration had been going on since the first day it was announced. Different black communities had different things going on, but it wasn't until 2021 that it became a federal holiday, the first new federal holiday since Martin Luther King Day. All right, let's see what else June 19th has given us. 1586, English colonists leave Roanoke Island after failing to establish England's first permanent settlement in North America. So Roanoke Colony was founded by Governor Ralph Lane in 1585 on Roanoke Island in what is now Dare County, North Carolina. Lane's colony was troubled by a lack of supplies and poor relations with the local natives. While waiting for supplies, things had been getting worse and worse. Lane had all but given up. Along comes Sir Francis Drake, and the detachment that was still on the island decides to go back to England with Sir Francis Drake. Following that failure, a second expedition led by John White landed the same island in 1887 and set up another settlement. This attempt would be known as the Lost Colony due to the subsequent unexplained disappearance of its population. There are several mysteries rolled into this whole event. The first thing is, they're not really sure where the colony was. They've never been able to establish any, relics or burial sites or anything like that. All they have is John White's journal that said they established their colony on the north end of Roanoke Island on a hilltop. They built a palisade to protect themselves. That's about it. Most people believe that storms or hurricanes washed whatever remnants there could be away. There are different theories on what happened to the colony. Some believe they became friends and started to live with the local indigenous people. Some believe they were killed by them. Some believe that the hostile locals drove them away from the colony. In 2022, there was a History Channel thing about the lost colony of Roanoke, and they had some of the local Native Americans do DNA testing, and one of them had European DNA that can be traced back to one of two brothers that were in the lost colony. 1846, the first officially recorded organized baseball game is played under Alexander Cartwright's rules in Hoboken, New Jersey. The New York Baseball Club defeats the Knickerbockers 23-1. 1862, the U.S. Congress prohibits slavery in the United States territories, nullifying the Dred Scott v. Sanford. 1934, the Communications Act of 1934 establishes the United States Federal Communications Commission, or FCC. 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is approved after surviving an 83-day filibuster in the United States Senate. 2005, following a series of Michelin tire during the United States Grand Prix weekend at Indianapolis and without an agreement being reached, 14 cars from 7 teams in Michelin tires withdrew after completing the formation lap, leaving only 6 cars from 3 teams on Bridgestone tires to race. Yeah, so they were having these tires just fail, and people during practice were hitting the wall left and right, and there was just something wrong with the tire. They were unsafe. Now, if you don't know anything about motor racing, the whole reason a lot of these automobile companies, tire makers, things like that, the only reason they're involved is because they use them sort of as a testing ground. And this was a new type of tire they thought would work, and it didn't. That's a brief overview. There's a lot that goes into it, but it was a big deal in motorsports. 2012, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange requests asylum in London's Ecuadorian embassy for fear of extradition to the United States after publication of previously classified documents including footage of civilian killings by the U.S. Army. 2018, the 10 millionth U.S. patent is issued. Interesting thing about this, back in the early 1920s, a man had taken over the U.S. Patent Office, and when he was kind of giving his acceptance speech for taking the position, he was under the impression he would be closing the patent office within the next couple years because almost everything that would be invented has been invented. If we could wake him up and show him the internet and HD TV and airplanes and satellites, cruise missiles, his head would explode. I mean, if it didn't already explode from us waking him up from, being dead 70 or so years. Movies released on June 19th, 1987, Roxanne. C.D. Bales is a romantic, smart, and brave fire chief whose only flaw is an enormous nose. Bales soon falls in love with the beautiful Roxanne, played by Daryl Hannah, who falls in love with his personality but another man's looks. C.D. Bales is played by Steve Martin. The guy that she falls in love with visually is played by Rick Rossovich, who he was in the original Top Gun and a few other movies. Good-looking man. But Steve Martin was like a poet and knew all these great things to say to a woman and would give him information to say to the girl, when in reality he was just a good-looking idiot. The movie starred Steve Martin, Daryl Hannah, Fred Willard, who is amazing, he just passed away in 2020, and Shelley Duvall. Oh my god, I saw a video of her, some guy tracked her down. She retired from acting and moved back to Texas and suffering from some serious mental illness. They had her on Dr. Phil. Oh, what a fiasco that was. They didn't make her look good at all. In the promo for the episode, they showed her saying that she was being chased by the sheriff of Nottingham and she thought Robin Williams wasn't dead. He was actually now a shapeshifter. It was weird and really disrespectful. Born on June 19th, 1978, Zoe Saldana. She's the actress who plays Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's also the voice of the main character in the Avatar movies. She studied ballet, jazz, and modern Latin dance in the Dominican Republic. She performed with the New York Youth Theater at age 17. She also was in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Really good actress. I like her. Died on June 19th, 2013, we lost Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini. He was in a lot of things like True Romance, Where the Wild Things Are, Enough Said, Get Shorty, but he really didn't hit his prime and didn't become a megastar till The Sopranos. He was with his family in Italy. He died suddenly at the age of 51 in Rome on June 19th, 2013. He was expected to travel to Sicily a few days later to receive an award after he and his family had spent the day sightseeing in sweltering heat. His 14-year-old son Michael discovered him unconscious at around 10 p.m. on the bathroom floor of the hotel room. Paramedics came, took him to the hospital, and they pronounced him dead at 10:40 p.m. An autopsy confirmed that he had died of a heart attack. He played such a good character in The Sopranos too. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.